had so eloquently put, I'm Master Arms Second Class Petty Officer Richie. I retired from the Navy in 2018, I think. Yeah, I believe that's right. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started, how I ended up here in Nebraska. I graduated high school in 2005, and right after that I went to college at Liberty University. Once I was in college, I realized that without a parent there telling me to go to class, I didn't go to class. So I quickly exited college and went back home. Once back home, I worked at FedEx for a little bit, and I thought I was the king of the world. I was making about $300 or $400 a week. I didn't have any responsibilities. I was the guy around. But after a few years working there, I realized first $300 or $400 a week isn't going to get you much, and then also that I had no purpose in life. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no direction, and I couldn't keep doing this for the rest of my life. So one day I was going home from work, and I decided to stop by the recruiting station and join the military. It's funny for me because I intended to join the Air Force. I went in, I saw the office, I knocked on the window, nobody answered. So I assumed they were off golfing or something. Then I went down the hall and there was the Marine Corps office, and they had their, I don't know if you guys seen their big pull-up bars. And I took one look at it and I realized I'm not the guy to be doing pull-ups. So I kept going, and it came down to the Navy, Coast Guard, and Army. And Coast Guard is just, I'm not a swimmer. It just is not in me. I can't do that. I'm not going to be rescuing anybody but myself. So the Army and Navy. And as much as I love sand, I prefer beaches over the desert, so I picked the Navy. I went in and talked to them. They gave me these great stories about how to be on ships and sail around the world and just see everything, meet people everywhere. And I got excited for that. I thought I was going to be doing great things. I went off to boot camp in Great Lakes about Thanksgiving of 2008, and while there I learned a lot. I met a lot of people from all across the country, people who've never seen someone like me before, people who've never met someone from the East Coast, who've never met someone from the West Coast. It's just a whole group of people, and we got to learn and love each other very intimately. You know, we got to know each other, know secrets about each other. I didn't even know most of their first names. We went by our last names. I knew so much about them, and they knew so much about me. We gained a brotherhood and sisterhood that I'll never forget. From there, I went to Texas for Master Arms A School, which is military police. While there, I definitely learned a lot from my instructors about how to be a military police, about how to arrest and apprehend, things of that nature. But one thing that I learned through all these experiences was I was going to have so much fun in the fleet. I was going to meet so many people, be on great aircraft carriers and destroyers, and just live this sailor life. And near the end of that, it came time to pick my orders. It's funny to me because we were invited, about 9 of us were invited into a room, and they were talking about the special program you could be a part of. Oh, you get secret clearances and you do all this crazy stuff, and I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I'm a special breed, And at the end, they said, hey, who doesn't want to be a part of this program? And like 3 people walked out, and I'm like, you guys what are you thinking? A little bit I know they were probably coached before about what was going on. So as they began to read orders for the people left, they said for 2 people, it's Kings Bay, Georgia. And I'm like, all right, Georgia, that doesn't sound too bad. There's water around there. Then 2 others, they were like, hey, you're going to Seattle, Washington. I'm like, oh man, there we go. You guys got the other ones out the way now, and I'm gonna get the best one. I'm going to Florida, go to California or something. And then the last 2, they were like, all right, you guys are going to Nebraska. And I'm a smart guy, so I paid attention to geography in high school, and I couldn't quite remember what ocean was in Nebraska. Little did I know, I'd be back with the Air Force anyway. So I joined the Navy and served with the Air Force. I stayed there for 3 years. I had a great time. Got my air warfare designation. From there, I moved on to Cozad, Greece, and I served with NATO troops and Greek troops. And I was there for a year. From there, I went to Washington State. I was in a Marine Corps Security Force Battalion for 3 years. And it was at this point in my career that I realized that I joined the Navy, and I have yet to really serve with any sailors. I have yet to been on a ship. I served with the Air Force. I served with the Greek Army. I served with NATO. I was with the Marines, but I was never with the Navy. So finally, as luck would have it, I went to Naval Air Support Activity, Protection River, Maryland with the Navy. Unfortunately, I didn't get on the ship, so lucky me, I made it through my whole career without being on the ship in the Navy. The reason I tell you that is, one reason, just how I ended up here in Nebraska, because I never would have expected growing up that I'd be in Nebraska. The only thing I knew about Nebraska growing up was they had an okay football team back in the day and then corn. So here I am, I'm far from home, but I've made Nebraska my home. It hasn't been the worst. I met my wife here, I got married here, had my first daughter here. So Nebraska's been good to me, and I'm thankful for being here. I want to talk a little bit about veterans and how you can think of veterans. Winston Churchill once said, "Never was so much owed by so many to so few." To me, that stuck with because there's not a lot of people that become military members. Whether it's qualifications or desires or what have you, there's not a lot to take that step and sign that dotted line. For me, I never expected that growing up. I didn't think I was that kind of guy. I was athletic, I was fun, I was a partier, but I was not a military guy. You weren't going to yell at me, you weren't going to tell me what to do, but I learned a lot from it. It made me grow up, it made me mature. It was the best decision of my life. And so many times people come up to me and say, "Thank you for your service," and it's always an awkward interaction because I don't know what to say. You're welcome, sure, anytime, glad to do it, but it means a lot to me. It means a lot to all veterans. Just those simple words. It may not at that moment stick, but later at night when I'm thinking about just my life and my journey and my service, I'm just like, man, that person that I didn't know, thank me for my service. They didn't have to. There's no obligation, but it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me in some of my dark times. Having people that appreciate my service. I'm not a combat veteran. I haven't been on a ship, but my service still matters. There's people who were in the military for 2 years, people in the military for 22 years. They still took that sacrifice, took that chance to go out there and put themselves on the line for the country, for the Constitution, for America, for each and every one of them. The reason that it's so important for me to speak to you guys today is because there's so many veterans. You have veterans here who've experienced a lot in their life. And it's important that you take the time to thank them, but also talk to them. Actually sit down and talk with them, hear about their experiences. Over this last year, I've lost 3 to 5 service members that I know personally to suicide. And the most frustrating part is when I look back and I'm like, man, there was one recently, he's just the life of the party. He was my buddy. Like whenever we're together, I laugh, he laughs, we play off each other. We're the class clowns, everybody loves us. He had a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, but it was just too much for him. And I regret every day that I didn't get to talk to him, that I didn't reach out to him. Hey, is everything okay? Your Instagram and your Facebook, you look like you're having fun, but is everything really okay? Is everything, do you want to talk? Even if I don't have the answers, sometimes you just listen. And I know each and every one of you has a veteran in your life, whether it's your mother, father, sister, brother, sons or daughters, who just want to be heard. If you don't have one, you can go to the nursing home, you can go to the veterans home in Kearney or in Grand Island and just speak to them. Just talk to them, listen to them. You don't have to have anything outstanding to say, just, hey, tell me about your story. Because it helps. There's too many out there, veterans out there that take their life because they have no one to turn to. And to me, that's heartbreaking. Because I look back over my career and see so many great people, great families that are broken apart because these veterans had no one to talk to. So today I challenge you to find that veteran in your life. Find that veteran somewhere. If you don't know any, come talk to me. I can hook you up with one. Talk to them. Give them a hug. Give them a handshake. Do something. Show them that you care. That's the best way. There's a lot of discounts today. There's a lot of free food and all that's great. If you see me, I'm going to eat. But what I want is you to find that veteran and just thank them and appreciate them and show them that you care. That's all I have for you. Like I said, I'm here after service. That if you want to talk to me about a vet in your life that's having struggles or having troubles, I can speak with them, I can relate to them as much as I can, and we can get them through their problems. So thank you for having me, and thank you for all the vets that came out. Thank you for the choir, your beautiful selection, and thank you for every speeches today. I thank you for the band. You guys are just doing so much for us, and we appreciate it. No matter if we're not as eloquent about saying it as some of you guys may be, we really do appreciate it. Thank you.